There's a phone conversation that might be the closest thing golf has to a signal flare right now. Tiger Woods hasn't teed it up in a major in over 2 years. His back has been cut open 7 times. His name has spent months tangled up in a Florida courtroom. And the man who spent his career chasing Woods around leaderboards now says something changed. Ernie Els isn't hinting anymore, he's talking. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what he says Tiger told him. Subscribe now if you want the next update the moment it drops. Let's back up. Earlier this year, there was real belief Woods would walk onto Augusta National for the 2026 Masters, one more chapter in a comeback nobody thought was still possible. Except he wasn't walking anywhere. He was recovering from a disc replacement, his 7th back surgery. 7. Most athletes are finished after 1. Woods kept getting rebuilt and coming back anyway. For a while it looked promising. Then, weeks before the Masters, everything collapsed. In late March, Woods was involved in a rollover crash near his home on Jupiter Island, Florida, and was arrested and charged with DUI, refusing a lawful test, and property damage. He has pleaded not guilty. No press conference, no statement. Woods simply disappeared, and it later came out he'd entered a 90-day treatment program in Switzerland. Court records confirmed a judge granted investigators access to his prescription history from before the crash, though specifics remain sealed while the case continues. Because of the arrest and treatment, Woods missed all 4 men's majors in 2026, the 2nd year running, for a man with 15 major titles and a lifetime invitation to Augusta as a 5-time champion. 2 full years of silence is something even people who've watched his career unravel and rebuild didn't expect. His first public reappearance came at the Travelers Championship in Connecticut, where he showed support for coming changes to the tour's structure. He didn't touch the legal situation or take questions. But he showed up, and for someone who'd all but vanished, that mattered. Behind the scenes, Woods never stepped away from the sports machinery. He still sits on the tour's policy board and still chairs the committee redesigning the competitive structure launching in 2028. His TGL League also just landed a new ownership group, Fenway Sports, the company behind the Red Sox and Liverpool. Sidelined or not, Woods is still shaping where professional golf goes next. None of that answers the one question everyone actually wants answered. Will he ever compete again? This is where Ernie Els comes in. He and Woods go back to the height of both careers, trading major wins and world rankings through the late 90s and 2000s. Els has told the story of his own father once asking why he never stood up to Woods more, and Els's answer was that his dad had no idea what the rest of the tour was up against. That rivalry cooled into respect over the decades. And now Els appears to be one of the people closest to actually talking Woods into playing again. Woods turned 50 at the end of last year, making him eligible for the PGA Tour Champions for the first time in his life. According to Els, that eligibility cracked a door open that Woods is now genuinely peeking through. In a recent interview, Els described a direct conversation where Woods asked him what the senior tour is actually like, what the competition looks like, whether it would suit him. Els says that conversation left Woods warming to the idea. He's careful to note Woods isn't some retired guy with time on his hands, pointing out how busy he's stayed behind the scenes for years. But busy or not, Els is clear he's not backing off. He intends to keep pushing. This isn't new territory for Els. Even before Woods hit 50, Els was publicly arguing that watching Woods struggle to make cuts on the regular tour wasn't helping him physically or mentally. His case was simple. On the Champions Tour, Woods could compete at the level his shot-making still deserves instead of watching guys half his age run past him and shoot the kind of rounds that would rebuild real competitive confidence rather than just surviving. There's also a practical detail that gets overlooked. Champions Tour events allow cuts. For someone who's had 7 back surgeries, multiple knee and ankle procedures, and a ruptured Achilles that ended a previous comeback outright, walking 72 holes over 4 rounds is a massive ask. Remove that burden, and you're looking at the difference between Woods playing again at all or never playing again. Here's what separates this moment from every other false start. This isn't a commentator guessing or a rival generating headlines. This is Els describing an actual private conversation, Woods asking real questions, Woods engaging instead of shutting it down. For years, Woods insisted his only goal was proving he could still compete head-to-head against players decades younger. That stubbornness built him. It also cost him surgery after surgery, setback after setback. Now, For maybe the first time, there's a real sign he might accept a different kind of comeback. Not retirement, a recalibrated version of competitive golf built for the body he actually has now. So where does this realistically go? Most signs point to something gradual. The PNC Championship in December, where he's played alongside son Charlie before, remains the likeliest first appearance. There's also talk of the Hero World Challenge, the event Woods hosts himself. A genuine return to elite tournament golf isn't expected before the very end of 2026, with people close to the situation pointing more realistically towards spring 2027 for a real major push. Given his 5 green jackets and lifetime Augusta exemption, the 2027 Masters is already the date everyone's quietly circling. But it all depends on 2 things nobody can predict: his health and how the legal case resolves. Both are still open, and either could change everything. What we know for certain is that Ernie Els isn't letting this go. He's said outright he'll keep knocking on Tiger's door. And for a man who spent his career hearing no from Woods on the course, there's something almost fitting about being the one who finally gets a yes off of it. Picture it: Woods riding a cart down the fairway at a Champions Tour event, facing Els, Phil Mickelson, and a field of guys who spent their careers chasing him. The rivalry reignited, crowds the senior tour hasn't seen in years. It would be one of the biggest golf stories in a long time, and depending on the next few months, it might genuinely happen. But there's a darker possibility underneath all of this. The legal case isn't resolved. The sealed prescription records could still reveal something nobody outside that courtroom has seen, and what they show could shape everything that comes next, on the course and off it. So here's where things sit. Ernie Els says Tiger is warming up. He says the door's always been open. Whether Woods walks through it, and what version of him walks through it when he does, is still one of the biggest open questions in sports. Subscribe so you catch the next update the second it breaks, and drop a comment telling us where you think we'll see him tee it up first: the regular tour, the Champions Tour, or somewhere nobody's expecting.